Many have laughed when I mentioned that I believe Laramie is a city, but to me, it is. I spent nearly the entirety of my life living in such a small town, it is sometimes referred to as a village. My little town Moorcroft is located in northeastern Wyoming, has a population of 1,000 people, and roughly only one street with anything besides houses on it. To give some perspective, my class size was 45 people, and that was the largest class in years. In Moorcroft, there was absolutely nothing to do if you weren't willing to drive a minimum of 30 minutes. All that anyone did for fun was drive down that one particular street and engage in illegal activities such as underage drinking and driving. There were parties, but if you were lame like me, then all you did was watch movies with friends and read books. Small town living can be lonely, especially if you don't quite fit in with everyone else. The reason I am explaining this is because living in a small town like that can really impact you, your friends and family, and other community members. There's a lack of diversity while still maintaining a sense of home in that close community. A lack of different thought, different style, different people. Everyone was the same. They talked the same, wore the same clothes, had the same hobbies and the same favorite movies. While this was great if you were like those people, it was exhausting for others, like the outcasts. For people like my sister, Paige. Paige is different from the other people in Moorcroft because she is openly gay and one of the first to do so. Although my family has been completely accepting, it is different to the closed-minded people of Moorcroft.
So I am interviewing my sister Paige, who has also lived in this small town as I have. Paige, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I wanted to discuss a couple things about how living in a small town has affected you personally, and just a little bit of, how it's affected your personality and your friends and that kind of stuff. So first of all, tell me about how living in a small town like Moorcroft has been for you your whole life.
Small towns, they're easy to live in if you're so much like everyone else and if you were to like the same things as everyone else were to. But when you're different, it's really hard to find your group of friends, and it's really hard to find a closest friend when they just keep coming in and out of Moorcroft. Like, nobody really stays in Moorcroft. It's impossible to find lifelong friends, and I'm just so different from everyone, so it's hard to keep friends, and it's just a lonely life.
It is, and especially because, for me personally, it was kindergarten through senior year, whereas you finally got to get out of Moorcroft, and it's your junior year, so it's a little late, but at least you got out of Moorcroft.
Yeah, it's really crazy when you live in a small town your whole life and go to a small school your whole life. Like, now I'm going to Gillette, and it's a bigger school, but it's so much more different because in Moorcroft School you can name every single face you see passing in the hallway, new, old, you can name everyone. But in Gillette, it's almost like you see a new face every single day, and it's refreshing.
Of course.
It's different.
Mm-hmm. For a little insight, Moorcroft has a population of only 1,000, and Gillette has a population of around 30,000, much like Laramie. So in our Moorcroft school, max was 300 in the school, if that. So in my own grade, I had about 40 people in the entire grade. So that's why it's a little easier to kind of know everybody. Whereas in Gillette, do you know the school size?
Oh boy. In my gym class in Moorcroft, I had 5 people in that gym class.
Of course.
But my gym class in Gillette, there are 2 separate classes with at least 30 kids.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different shifting from that, because in Moorcroft, we wouldn't be able to play some games because we had such a small class.
Yeah.
And now we have more than enough people. Not even everyone has a chance to kick in kickball or something.
Although Moorcroft was small and can be impactful in some right and wrong ways, it really helped shape me into who I am. I didn't succumb to the style or the way of thinking that was popular within the people. I experienced closed-minded thinking and was able to see why that could limit the way of life, and chose to broaden my horizons.